I remember a story of a young girl last year who had started college. She immediately became extremely stressed over the sudden shift between going to high school and going to college. And she felt as if she was failing at her time in college because she couldn't satisfy her own high expectations. Because of this failure, she was experiencing suicidal thoughts and was seriously considering taking her own life. However, a couple of days later, she heard about another girl who committed suicide on campus. And this second girl was much more popular. She was on the track team and had several friends on campus. After hearing about this suicide, the first girl realized she needed help. She became a lot more open to her friends, talked about her feelings, and actually sought out a professional therapist on campus, and ended up getting the help that she needed. This girl is still in college today, but she has changed her major to elementary counseling and middle school counseling to manage anxiety and help kids of these ages cope with new situations. When she got to college, she suffered from a culture shock brought on by relative deprivation, or feeling as if one has less than they are entitled to. Since she came from an extremely small high school, she succeeded at pretty much everything she did because there was no competition in her environment. She didn't have any form of failure in her life and thus had no coping skills to deal with failing. While a culture shock such as learning that you're not all that in a bag of chips is a pretty good thing, it teaches you humility and it helps you deal with having your ego taken down a peg or two, such a rapid shift is the problem. What's worse off is that her story isn't even an isolated incident. According to DoSomething.org, approximately 20% of teens will experience a form of depression. That's 1 in 5 people. Depression can often lead to low self-esteem, which is a byproduct of relative deprivation, and thus we have more tragedies such as the second girl. She was one of 6 suicides in a 13-month span at her college campus. Anyone, guy or girl, that has low self-esteem feels that no one can help them feel any better. However, what we need to help these people realize is that they have friends and family who are willing to do anything to help them feel better and not take their own life. Guys also suffer from low self-esteem, as approximately 6% of high school and middle school guys have taken steroids, the same drugs that you get banned for in professional sports for taking. These guys have taken steroids because they've been told pretty much all their entire life that they need to get big and look like that guy. Being a skinny guy myself, I don't exactly fit into that model. This is what society has deemed as an acceptable guy. And this stereotype makes me feel as if I'm going to get robbed of something because I don't fit into society's accepted mold of a human male. This ends up lowering self-esteem of other skinny, less athletic people such as myself, and these thoughts end up permeating every action of what they do. This causes the low self-esteem that can not only make people feel as if they have less of what they are entitled to, but can also lead to people just giving up and not even fighting for anything. However, low self-esteem isn't exactly a hopeless abyss that you sink into. Often people can get help from suicide hotlines or even just talking about their problems to a caring soul. I relate to this on a personal level, as 2 years ago I found myself having suicidal thoughts. However, I ended up finding a couple of people who were extremely supportive in my life, and I was able to talk to them and get my feelings out there. People are able to find ways to save themselves from suicide before it escalates to that certain point. However, it shouldn't even escalate to getting close enough to suicide. We should have programs in place, or at least people that you know you can talk to in order to voice your feelings so that you don't experience suicidal thoughts or end up taking your own life. The people that I found in my personal life were the members of my high school choir. Everyone in that choir, almost everyone in that choir, had experienced somewhat of a similar incident as to what I was going through in that time. So they could speak from experience on how to get over it and how to beat anxiety and suicidal thoughts. That time was 2 years ago, and now, senior year's been one of the best years of my life. I'm on cloud 9 right now, but I wouldn't have been there if I hadn't had the people in my choir to tell me, you can get through this. Not everything is going to fall apart. You have people there who care about you. One of the main things that we can tackle, one of the main areas we can tackle this problem in is in the education system. I know Quakertown does not have any anxiety management classes, and because of this, there's not a whole lot of places you can go to learn about managing stress and coping with new situations. if schools can actually implement and develop these classes, you can not only help save people's lives because they have the skills to deal with stress and managing anxiety and stuff like that, you can also figure out a career of what you want to do with your life. The closest thing that my school has to this is psychology, and I took that class last year to figure out how to manage stress and anxiety. I'm now going to be a psych major, and I'm taking AP Psychology because of that class, because that class taught me some of the most important things of my life, such as how to manage stress, how to manage anxiety, how to deal with new situations. Having classes dedicated to this topic can not only lower the amount of people with low self-esteem and raise the collective self-esteem of teenagers in high school, it can also lower teen suicide and help people find a potential career and answer the question of, hey, what do I want to do with my life? And it can also help people get into that college environment. Going to college in general, it can be a really good thing. There are several people who perform really well in college and adjust to that environment relatively quickly. Several people take time in college to figure out what they want to do, such as study abroad, find a career, or even find love in the form of a close friend or future spouse. Everyone has the opportunity to make something of themselves at college. However, there are people who can't adjust that environment right away, and they need help with it. These people need help adjusting to said environment and shouldn't be ostracized because of it. Without coping skills or any classes that they would have taken in high school, they could potentially face a similar situation of getting to college and freaking out because everything is new to them and experiencing suicidal thoughts because of it. If we can help these people adjust to said environment, then we can improve self-esteem as a whole and decrease the stress level of everyone attending college, which not only keeps people alive, it also makes our future better because we have people who are able to manage stress and enter leadership positions without freaking out over every little thing. Thank you. I can't get out that way.